Hello, thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. I need to take my glasses off. I was like on this. I was like, why am I wearing my glasses still? I'm Nikki Maduro, the blind one.
You're a hot teacher.
Hi,
I'm a hot teacher.
Let me take them off very slowly for you. She is Kim McAllister. We are here. Grab your cocktails, your mocktails. I just yelled to my husband, Kim, because I told him what we did last time about having the bourbon tasting. And he's like, oh, I have bourbon for you. So I told my husband.
Get any bourbon. I'm
You're
such
not
a
gonna
loser.
Get anything. Okay, hold on. So it's going to be the voice. So he's handing me the voice and the hand in the background.
Ooh.
So husband.
Hi, James.
What is it going to be?
We're having Penelope barrel strength.
Let me show the bottle. Penelope barrel strength.
Oh,
let me show the
it
bottle.
Looks fancy.
This is what it looks like. I'm going to free advertising for bourbon right here.
It looks nice.
Am I going to like it or is it going to be hot?
It's hot and you will like it.
He says it's hot and I'm going to like it. Now, of course, I have to
You're
drink
going to like
straight.
it, hottie.
I will only be taking a sip because, again, and hit that subscribe button. We're doing cocktails and news on the Nikki Maduro Show, but we started off with a drink because if there's anything that the news makes us do, it makes us drink.
I'm drinking my Coachella Valley iced tea over here.
Okay, you're supposed to be getting bourbon from your freaking husband. Remember that. Okay.
He just took the kid to karate, but I'll text my 15-year-old and make her bring me booze because I'm the mother of the year.
That's the one thing I've never done. When I was a kid, before I drink this, when I was a kid, a very vivid memory that I have is getting my dad his Riesling wine. 2 ice cubes in his glass. He'd like, get me my glass of wine. As a kid, I would never ask my child to make me my cocktail. I don't know why. I mean, my daughter's 15. It's not like she doesn't see, booze, but I would not want to like instill it in her to make me a cocktail. So anyways,
I just asked mine. I have no problem with it. I remember my best friend and I used to walk to school from the time of like 3rd, 4th grade upward. And her mom back then smoked and she would ask us to stop by the corner store and buy her a pack of cigarettes on the way home.
Yeah, those were the days when you could, with a note, like my mom wants me to get her cigarettes.
No, the guy didn't even need a note. These were the pre-note days where they're just like, sure, whatever, kid. How do we like the bourbon?
I do like that, babe.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Oh, he's giving me my regular cocktail, though.
Nice.
Yeah, because I can't drink that all day.
You serve us with a smile over there.
Here, baby. You don't want this to go to waste.
I don't have a problem with Julia because she's kind of an oddball. Like, I never would have asked myself as a child to get my parents a drink when I was a teenager because I probably would have sampled.
Right.
But she doesn't want to go to like teenage parties. Like ragers, where there's drinking afoot.
Right.
She has no interest in any of this. She'll take a sip of wine if we're making it or having some type of event. But that's pretty much it for her. She's she's not a troublemaker, this one. I lucked out. Trust me, the second kid coming up, I'll meet my match.
I love Cecilia. She says, on holidays, it was my job to make gin fizzes for us to have with breakfast. I was 10.
Oh my God, that's funny.
There we go. So it's just different generations. I am telling you. And just another quick generational story, which is going to blow your mind, Kim McAllister. I'm sitting at my new job today. And if you want something to make you feel old, so I'm sitting around, we're having lunch. I'm having lunch with my office ladies. And all of a sudden they're talking about this new Netflix show on the Lacey Peterson case.
Oh.
And all of these girls are like, I don't know anything about this case. And I'm like, what are you
You're like,
talking about?
I was standing outside the courthouse. I was there.
And, and I was like, I was. And they're like, I was 10. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, okay. Well,
these are mothers?
I mean,
these are moms at your school?
I mean, they work with me. It's just and I'm looking at one of the women that I work with, and we're looking at each other because we're the same generation. We're the beeper generation. They're the they had cell phones, and then there's them that don't even know what a payphone is. But yeah, it's so funny.
So funny.
Louise, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, which you can find the $ under the live chat box. Thank you. Hell yes, love the live happy hour show. I'll be with you till 6 when I go see an advanced screening of Alien Romulus. I just watched the original Alien with my 13-year-old boy.
How was it?
And he liked it. He liked it. I mean, again, the iconic Alien coming out of the stomach scene. Like I was
Yeah.
so looking forward to it. It was pretty good. He liked it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this one. That's why we watched it, is so we can go
Okay.
see Alien
I
Romulus.
just read a movie tidbit. I forget where
Okay.
I saw it. It was some like People magazine or something. And it was just a movie factoid.
Okay.
Did you know that during that first movie, Aliens,
Alien.
they aliens plural, unbeknownst to the actors Sigourney Weaver and whoever else she was with, the director had them spray them when the alien bursts out of the with real animal guts and blood.
Ew.
Yeah, they didn't realize that it was going to be that they were going to be showered
Yeah,
with
I
real.
think, but James was telling me something like he didn't tell them what was going to happen so that the reaction would be real or something like that. Disgusting, but again, an iconic scene. So I do believe the director got what they wanted from that scene. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Okay, well, we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I loved the Alien movies when I was little. Yeah. You just have to, because it's so different. And again, listen to the woman. I just remember watching Alien. If they would have listened to Sigourney Weaver at the very beginning, none of it would have the movie would have literally ended right there. That lady Beatrice, thank you for the $5 donation. Best part of my week. What fun are we in for today? Well, let's discuss. Let me tease you. Well, of course, we're going to talk about old Trumpy boy having his continued meltdown. And again, my big question is, this is what I keep not comprehending, is how long can this really go on? Apparently, it's going to go on till Election Day. I know the answer to my question, but he is absolutely losing it. And what I'm enjoying and what's really interesting to see, Kim, is the vastly different way the Harris Walls campaign is dealing with Trump versus how Biden was dealing with Trump. And I really want to get your guys' take on whether or not you like it, because it is like starkly different. Now, as I teased in the thumbnail, there was this really very offensive photo that Donald Trump had shown, and he shared it. And on one side, he's basically saying, you know, Trump's America, the left side, with the white picket fence and the American flag. And on the right side, it's largely people of color, migrants, and that would be Harris's America. Everyone is saying this is a blatantly racist picture. I think that the way that Donald Trump talks about people of color, talks about migrants, is so openly racist now. He's not even hiding it anymore, that it makes you wonder if this is also part of his mental decline. Like I always use the anecdote, the old grandpa or the uncle at the dinner table. Well, there is a point where you're just like, yes, grandpa, you pat him on the head, because there's no filter anymore. Luis says, irony, Trump, a well-documented racist, and misogynist, is going to lose to an African-American woman. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Wall said it too, right? Sandy said, wait, I missed the picture. Can you post it again? So here it is.
Basically,
he posted it. Yeah.
What he's saying is, in this picture, words without being said, right? This is where the white people live on the left. Is that the America you want?
Right.
This is what happens when you let the black people into the White House.
Exactly.
There's chaos and bedlam and, oh, look at all the people that don't look like you.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty much.
As if black people, Asian people, Latino people don't live in nice places, in houses that are well kept and quiet neighborhoods and everything else. It's outrageous.
Yeah. So basically, under the white picket fence picture, it said your neighborhood under Trump. Under the migrants picture, it said your neighborhood under Kamala. And it's just so stupid. It's ridiculous. And again, I will remind you, not a crisis, according to Donald Trump. Not a crisis at all, because what did he do? He blocked the bipartisan border bill. But the best comeback that I saw, and I want to play this for you, to that very racist post, was this. Hold on, I want to see if I can bring it up real quickly. And the headline said, apologize, my computer's really slow today, your Capitol under MAGA.
The January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol remains a dark stain on our nation's history.
The attack on our Capitol and the attempted coup to overturn our democracy,
where white supremacist and extremist groups displayed anti-Semitic and racist symbols and recited conspiracy theories blaming Jews for the pandemic.
Capitol Hill policemen were attacked and died as a result of that insurrectionist mob.
We all walked over that broken glass. We all saw the spray paint on the walls. We all stood huddled together in shelter.
On the afternoon of January.
So yeah, I mean, your country under a Donald Trump presidency brought you an insurrection, brought you the gallows on the step to hang your vice president. Now, do we need to do something, regarding immigration on our borders? Absolutely. I think everybody agrees with that. Kamala Harris agreed with that. Democrats and Republicans worked together on that. But Donald Trump stopped it, and he said it out loud. He said, I don't want this to pass because I don't want to give Biden a win. Plain and simple. So again, if it was really a crisis, he wouldn't have stopped it. So give me a break. I really, really don't. And then President Biden, just to kind of keep it on the whole, racist tip, President Biden had sat down with CBS's Robert Costa. And this is a clip that was going around. Oh, throw that back up. I want to do thank yous really, really quickly. Lady Beatrice with the $5 donation. I know why he's playing the personal attack game. He's getting nervous, but has no real argument against Kamala. Thank you so much for the donation. And again, I think that it's the dog whistle appeal that he's hoping that there's more racists than there are people, against him. This is what President Biden said on CBS.
Think of this. Every other time the Ku Klux Klan has been involved, they wore hoods, so they're not identified. Under his presidency, they came out of those woods with no hoods, knowing they had an ally. That's how I read it. They knew they had an ally in the White House. And he stepped up for them.
And he's absolutely right. You know what I mean? When remember, stand down, stand by, or whatever the hell he said. And you can part and parcel whatever you want about what Trump said and what he meant, but it wasn't strong enough. And he doesn't mean it. It just doesn't make sense to continue to support Donald Trump at all at this point. And I really I don't understand why people do.
What's interesting about what you just said, that it makes no sense to support Trump at this point, is now being spread to his former supporters. So it never made sense for us to support him. But now we're seeing Republicans for Trump.
Yeah.
And there are thousands of them. And we're seeing Republicans for Harris, rather.
Yeah.
Republicans for Harris. And we're seeing thousands of them. And we're seeing Christians for Harris.
Yeah.
And we're seeing thousands of them come out of the woodwork. So clearly it doesn't make sense for Republicans either.
Exactly. Now, going to what I was talking about at the beginning, which is how the Harris campaign is dealing with Donald Trump. Did you see this press release? And I do believe it's real. I mean, it was shared on Twitter. So I'm assuming it is. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just going to read it to you. It says today, this is the headline of the press release. Today, Donald Trump to ramble incoherently and spread dangerous lies in public, but at a different home. At 4:30, Donald J. Trump, loser of the 2020 election by 7 million votes, will hold another public meltdown in Bedminster, New Jersey. And then it goes on to say, not so fresh off NABJ, Florida, and Twitter glitches, Donald Trump intends to deliver another self-obsessed rant full of his own personal grievances to distract from the toxic Project 2025 agenda, unpopular running mate, and increasingly detachment from the reality of the voters who will decide this election. These remarks will not be artificial intelligence, but they certainly will lack intelligence. It's an interesting thing. It might have just been on Twitter that was there. But at the same time, I'm just so curious on what do you guys think about that tactic? Is that a smart tactic for the Harris campaign to take, or do you think people will tire of it?
I don't know. I think do what she's been doing. Focus on what the country would look like under him in a way that's true and focus on hope, what she's for, that that she supports having your reproductive rights restored, that she supports being a member of our allies, that's the way we protect America. Go focus on those things that are working for you to lift us up. I hope that she doesn't tear us down. However, sometimes the tearing down can be done by others, and it can be quite delicious. Did you see the advertisement that Congressman Eric Swalwell put together?
I think I saw. I was scrolling through, and I don't think I saw. Show it to me.
It's really quick. Let me just play this bad boy for you.
Okay. Oh, I do think I saw this. This is really, really funny.
Dictator on day one. There will have to be some form of punishment for women. Roe vs. Wade was terminated. Fire, fury, bloodbath. Now get in.
You know what, honey? I'm going to drive you today. Besides, can convicted felons even drive school buses?
Exactly. I love it. Very cute.
If you wouldn't trust him with your kid, why would you trust him with your country?
I mean, again, it's one of these things where it does seem the Democratic Party, and before, I mean, Eric Swalwell has always spoken harshly against Trump. Gavin Newsom has always spoken, really harshly against Trump. Walz has. Pete Buttigieg does it in his own very calm way. But it seems now that the campaign of Harris and Walz is supporting it, if not leading the charge on it. And it's kind of anti. When they go low, we go high type of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we have to play the game that we're in and show them like, no, you're bat-ass crazy.
Right.
And we're going to point it out every single time because what you're saying is nonsense. And
Total
it should be pointed out.
But you see, now people can see through it. So now it's not ugly and, oh, you're right, she laughs a lot. Now it's, oh, you're wrong and you're not focusing on things that are important. Before we knew it. Right. I don't necessarily know if we need to go low. Pointing out the truth is fine, but let him be the liar. Let him be the mumbling old man in the corner, being derogatory and negative.
You don't think making jokes about J.D. Vance screwing a couch or calling Donald Trump weird is going low?
You know what? There's two schools of thought on this.
Okay.
The first is he has been attacking personally in a way that's despicable, but it's been working for him. And Democrats have taken the high road and haven't really sunk down to that level. Right. And so we're not really in the fight because we haven't been flinging the mud right back.
Exactly.
That's one school of thought. My school of thought is the mud flinging like that is really done. Yeah. Let him fling the mud. That it's professional and presidential and speaks of who you are to elevate and to let him be the crazy guy in the corner, because it looks different now than it did during the last election. Now he just looks like a nutball.
Well, and I also think that with Biden and Harris, when they were running in 2020, we were really coming out of COVID. We were really trying to unite. There was a healing that we needed to do, right? And that's what Biden really tried to take on. And I think that if Biden called Trump weird or tried to kind of campaign that way, it would just be more of this scarring that we just didn't need. Now we've healed. Now we're ready to fight. And Kamala Harris is younger and ready to put up the dukes. Kevin says Dems should keep doing what they're doing. I was listening to the news today, actually, and there is this question of, is this just kind of the infatuation bounce? But I don't like polls. You guys know I don't like polls. I don't put any stock in polls after 2016.
Oh, I love a good poll.
I hate a poll because she's up in polls and I'm not paying any attention to it. But they're saying is that she's up in the polls, but it's this 1 or 2% of people that didn't want to vote for either Biden or Trump, and they're energized by Kamala Harris. It's those people. Remember, it's like, how do you not know who you're voting for? These are the people who are like, I don't want to vote at all because I don't like either of them. Now they're like, well, crap, I'll vote for Kamala Harris. Now it's somebody that I could, throw my weight behind. So I think I'm not going to say it's a landslide. I want it to be a landslide. I think it should be a freaking landslide. This guy is off his rocker. He says the most asinine thing. He said today at that weirdo press conference that you guys were talking about earlier that more than 100%, which is not mathematically possible, more than 100% of jobs went to migrants. More than 100% of new jobs went to migrants.
Are you a migrant? Because
Yeah,
you got a new job.
Exactly. Apparently, I'm a migrant.
So already we're not at 100%.
He's such an ass. Like, it doesn't make sense at all. He also said something about Kamala Harris. Somebody was like, do you think that, people are saying maybe you should stop making fun of her and kind of.
I lost you. You froze. I don't know if you're frozen or I'm frozen, but I'm assuming that you're frozen. So I'll just move forward. But while we wait for Nikki to come back, it was funny that you mentioned this, John Slade, because I was just talking about this before the show. Just telling Nikki this. I have been looking for this sound for 2 days. I saw it on the Young Turks and tried to go back and find it.
The issues like should be weird.
Nikki, you're having audio issues. For some reason, I think you're glitching a little bit. Anyhow, I was trying to tell her that he was asked at this fundraising press conference in the Hamptons, how do you feel about being called weird? And Trump says, well, they're not calling me weird. They're calling J.D. Vance weird. Really? That is absolutely crazy. Because there you are. There's two of you now. I was just talking about the weird comment at the fundraiser in the Hamptons, what John mentioned as well. And it just goes to show that you've got somebody who doesn't have your back. I mean, you just picked this vice president. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be a team that supports each other. And that the first instance, when someone says, how do you feel about being called weird? He throws his fresh vice presidential candidate under the bus and says, exactly. No, it's Vance they're calling weird. Not me. I'm not the weird one. Always putting yourself first. Mm-hmm. And if that isn't indicative of a man that consistently puts himself first and never America first.
Always puts himself first.
Then that's not the person I want.
You guys remember that iconic, like they do a split screen between Obama talking about the assassination of Osama bin Laden and then Donald Trump talking about I forget his name. I'm going to butcher it right now, but it's a side by side of the speech. And like Trump totally butchers it. He's like, shot him down like a dog. And then at the very end of, he's like, I'm not going to get any credit for it. It's like, it's not freaking about you. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, I won't get any credit for it. No one's going to thank me though. He is so self-centered. He is so egotistical. I don't understand why people like
it gets in the way of everything else because people look at they look at him like a fighter. That's his whole thing. Like he's belligerent and he's a fighter. Like after the assassination attempt, when he popped up with his hand in the air, like I'm okay,
it's so
forward.
Weird.
Like that's what they're looking at. They think that is strong.
It's so
that's
stupid.
not strong. And putting yourself and your ego first will do nothing but damage our country.
Exactly.
Not strong
he
at
needs
all.
to stop.
Weak.
He needs to
Weak.
stop.
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking earlier about the Republicans against Trump and for Kamala Harris. Listen, and I've mentioned this before, if you lose, and they're even saying that Kamala might take Florida, which
I heard that. I know you hate the polls, but the poll done by Fox News shows her only 1 point below him, 49 to 50% in a state where she is not supposed to get that close.
Right.
No, but his base is turning on him. People are seeing through him.
They're tired of the nonsense.
Thank you.
People still have.
Oh, you're frozen again. Man. Well, while you're frozen, first of all, let me applaud Nick, who says Kim is right. And anytime I see that on the screen, speaking of big egos, I'll appreciate that. Wow, Mark is rubbing off on me. And Luis with $5 comes in saying, I agree that the other Nikki, Haley, when she said first party to retire, their 80 candidate is the one who will win the election.
And
Did
at
she
the point,
say
it's
that?
like, you can only hear them so much before. There I am. Okay. I don't know what's wrong with my Wi-Fi today, but
I don't either. But we got it.
I know. I'm like literally by my Wi-Fi machine. Damn it, work. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you was in Arizona, because again, this is a mayor. I think it's Mesa, Arizona. Listen to this guy.
I do not recognize my party. It has been. The Republican Party has been taken over by extremists that are committed to forcing people in the center of the political spectrum out of the party. So I have something to say to those of us who are in the political middle. You don't owe a damn thing to that political party.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In particular, you do not owe anything to a party that is out of touch and is hell-bent on taking our country backward.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's a Republican, yeah?
He's from Arizona.
And by all means, you owe no seat to a candidate that is morally and ethically bankrupt.
Exactly. So that's him. I mean, I just feel like this is what we need more of. I love Heather's comment too. The presidency is supposed to be a position of service, not personal power and gain. Obviously, that concept is lost on apricot pot. I like that. I like that a lot.
I know I said personal attacks are not my jam, but
No.
she comes up with some doozies, I'll tell you.
Exactly. Thank you to Louise with the $5 donation. I agree with that other Nikki Haley when she said first party to retire their 80 candidate is the one who will win the election. There you go. I can't stand Nikki Haley, but I agree with you absolutely that she was right there. Voting purple is the way it should be, Kate Plant says, a little from the left and a little from the right, regardless of what color's on top. Hopefully we can get back to that someday. I agree. I think that, again, I want to go back to politics being boring. I want to go back to Kim and I drinking cocktails, talking about Matthew McConaughey, you know what I mean? And kids and yes, issues that matter to our homes, but not being so divided because Donald Trump is trying to take away individual freedoms. I want to debate whether or not small things and large things, but not things that will ultimately divide us where I hate my neighbor. There is a house that I drive by on my way home from my new job that has a Trump flag. Why would you have a flag of that man? Why would you have a flag with the name of a president in front of your house? That is cult behavior. I love Obama. I would never, ever, ever have a flag of Obama's name on my house. That's insane. That's insane. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, if you were, you thought he was the second coming, maybe. And that's what some of these people think of Trump. They're like, oh, he's Jesus coming back.
It's whatever. I mean, I just feel like I want to get back to talking policy and really understanding that we're the United States of America and not really, and understanding what that meant, why this country was founded, how this country was founded, and not vilifying people as others just because their skin is a little bit darker. It's just really, really sad. And I wish we can get back to it. No, I wouldn't even put a Taylor Swift flag in front of my house. Unfortunately. Not unfortunately. I just, an American flag, maybe a pretty flag.
You'd put a 49er flag in front of your house.
When it's Niner time, you know what I mean? But then I take it down. Well, if we have a game playing, yes.
Yeah.
Speaking on that, can I I'll do a little caveat right here?
Oh, please.
You know what headline I just saw? Just not my Niner fans and anybody that follows football. Jim Harbaugh is offering Colin Kaepernick a coaching job.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's interesting.
Jim Harbaugh is obviously no longer an NFL coach, Michigan, right? But offered him and thinks that Colin Kaepernick would be a great coach. Now, obviously,
way back in.
Colin Kaepernick wants to play in the NFL. Keeps saying that over and over again.
How old is he now? Isn't it too late?
36? No.
Oh, okay.
If Aaron freaking Rodgers can still play football, then Colin Kaepernick can. Let's see. Rev P says, do I watch local and world news or the Nikki Medora show? I'm going for both. Do both. And drink your cocktail or mocktail or water or whatever. Thank you.
We're way more interesting. Definitely.
Exactly. I mean, is, David Muir drinking cocktails and giving you the news? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Louis says, even worse, the F Biden flags. Very classy. Who flies that or the upside down American flag? I thought these a-holes thought the flag was sacred. The Chargers. Oh, he's the new head coach of the Chargers. Oh, damn it. I should keep up. Damn it. I think I totally missed that headline. Yes. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Did you, speaking of people who support candidates and the way we feel about candidates, did you see this video from, I think it's from Rebel HQ? It popped up on my YouTube feed, but it's this report that has this woman embedded, and she talks about why she's drawn to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
Okay.
And while I may not feel the same about her, as her, she talks about this, and I thought her perspective was kind of interesting because there's a lot of people who maybe have family members that have gone off the deep end and have that Trump flag in front of their house.
Here she is again.
I get thousands and thousands and thousands of comments about how being a liberal white woman is the worst thing that someone can be, how I'm a disgusting, ugly Karen. And every now and then I'll get a comment from someone that said, I bet your dad doesn't even love you. And even though I know my dad loves me in his only way that he can, I know that my dad feels the exact same way as all those other weird men in my comments. And seeing Tim Walz, seeing that he was an educated conservative that saw the party getting weird and changed his mind, shifted his mindset, and now he's this altruistic character who does the slingshot with his daughter at the fair. He's just chill and normal and kind and sensible. He has empathy. He represents all of those qualities that were stripped away from my normal father by this cult. And it makes me sad to see him, because I think, what kind of person would my dad have been if he didn't fall victim to this nightmare?
Yeah.
The emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So many people can relate to that. So
look
many.
at him as like, you know, now that they've lost their whatever father, whomever, they're looking at him as like, a normal dad.
Yeah, exactly.
The dad that I want, the dad I can relate to, or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Imagine how many people like actually lost that connection with their parent, and then that parent passed away, and there was, you know,
Nothing
and it's
to be done.
hard, you know. I mean, I know there's a lot of things that make relationships between parents and their children kind of fray, right? I mean, it could be a number of things, but when it's politics and when it's something like this, and when, you know, when you think that you know your parent and you know how they raised you about certain issues, and then there's someone like Donald Trump who you thought represented the complete opposite of all of the ways that parent raised you and the way and their belief system. And it encompasses like literally a person of all the ways that's opposite, and they follow that person. It really hurts. And I totally understand how that woman feels. And I think that it's awesome that she got her dad back. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's really, really cool. And yeah, I totally feel for her. That's a really cool video.
She says a little bit more.
Right.
And here's the other part, which I think is interesting to see, just because you get a really interesting feel for Tim Walz and how he interacts with his kids.
Especially with millennial women.
After getting to know Tim Walz for the last few weeks, I have realized something, and it's very profound. He represents the dad that a lot of liberal women lost. A lot of us had moderate to conservative, educated, sensible fathers that we lost to Rush Limbaugh, that we lost to Fox News, that we lost to Donald Trump.
The fatherly vibes and Midwestern approachability are part of most Walz highlight videos. This was his interaction with school children after signing a bill to provide free meals. Last year, Walz and his daughter promoted the Minnesota State Fair.
I think we're going to go do the slingshot.
Which I don't know what it is, and they're keeping it from me. But then we're going to go get some food, corn dog.
I'm vegetarian.
Turkey then. And
Turkey's meat.
Not in Minnesota, turkey special. And we will go do some of those things and report back.
The dad's humor and enthusiasm then intensified on the ride itself.
I want to do that so bad.
Oh my God.
Yes!
Good. Good job, Dad.
Oh, thanks, All right, Minnesota, it's worth it.
But the Walz person.
So now you can see why she thinks, oh, he's, the whole America's dad thing, because she's right. Unfortunately, you know, a lot of people do have these relationships that have tanked because people are so diametrically opposed, because there is this thing where you see a Trump flag and you're like, it's like
it's awful.
A physical response to that.
Exactly.
So, I don't know.
Well, and
Anyway.
again, it's just it's a representation of all of the things that in my opinion, and again, we're obviously sharing our opinions, and I think a lot of people that
Right.
watch this show, agree. And I know we have a lot of people that disagree, and you guys voice it, and
It's
that's
fine.
and it's totally fine.
As long as
But
it's
I just feel like
respectful.
exactly.
Yeah.
To me, it's just Donald Trump and their supporters, at the very least, are hypocritical. You know what I mean? Like, if you say you believe in freedom, then you shouldn't be taking away people's personal rights. It's all of these things. I just saw an image of a college, and forgive me, I forget what college it is, that was throwing away all of these LGBTQ books, throwing them away. Like, what year is this? Right? It's just absolutely nuts. Kay says, finally home with the cocktail. Yay, cheers. Watching Nikki and Kim on my 60-inch TV screen and typing on my phone. Love it, love it, love it. Yep, Cheryl's shopping with my AirPod, enjoying the podcast. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you click that thumbs up button and make sure you've subscribed. We appreciate everybody being here all of the time. And programming note, we're going to be a little bit early next week. School's back in session. The kiddos are back. We have back to school night next week, but we don't want to shorten the show. So it'll start a little bit early, around 4:30. So it'll go and a little bit before 6. So still the same length, starting a little early just next week. If you come in at 5, we'll still be here, but it's going to start a little bit earlier tomorrow, next Thursday. So just letting you all know. I do love the turkey comment though. It reminds me of that scene from My Big Fat Greek Wedding where she's like, the guy's like, I don't eat meat. And she's like, okay, we'll have lamb. It's like, oh, that's still meat.
It's so funny. I just had to switch you back to the other side. I feel like it's almost like sides of the bed.
How did you do that?
You belong over there and I belong over here.
How did you do? You just grab me?
I grabbed you and I flicked you back across the screen.
I did not know.
You can do it over and over again.
Okay. And you didn't need to ban him. He just wanted attention. He
was rude.
Was he being rude?
Yeah.
I love
He
the
was
mom. I love Kim being a mom. He wanted attention. He was like a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's like, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever. Okay. It's not an airport.
I give you a couple, you can not like us. That's fine. But when you go
He doesn't
on
like
and on
me,
about it.
and it's fine. Yeah, exactly. No, but the fact that he stayed, it's like,
Gotta
he just
go.
wanted attention. Okay. Fine.
I know.
All right.
But he's not this is a great group. He doesn't add anything to the conversation. Sayonara, sucker, and don't come back. Don't let the good Nikki door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Exactly. Can we talk about the funny things that also happened this past week with Trump? The whole Celine Dion thing.
When he played the Titanic song, My Heart Will Go On.
I'm sorry, but how on the nose was it? And yet they're totally tone deaf to it. And do you think they understood? Like, why would they choose that? I mean, and Celine Dion even sent out, or her people sent out a thing like, seriously? That
song? Yeah.
So I'm going to play it. I'm just going to play like a second of it because I know damn well YouTube's going to make me cut it out. So if you're watching this on replay and you're like, what song? Yeah, it's going to come. But this is it. Like, seriously?
You can see the ship going down in your mind.
There is only one movie
Trump at the
people think
helm.
of when you hear this song, and it is the freaking Titanic going down. That is it. That is it. And why would they play it? Like, why would you play it?
First of all, what a ridiculous decision. Second of all, why don't you do what Kamala Harris did? Get permission first. Ask the artist. Beyonce said, absolutely, use my song Freedom at your rallies. I would welcome it.
Right.
So you call up Celine Dion and you say, listen, we'd love to play your Titanic song at our rallies. And she would have probably said, really? Why that one? You know what people are going to think, right? The ship is going down.
Then did you see this?
And P.S. No, don't use any of my music. Yeah.
Do you see Laura Trump? A defiant Laura Trump says, we don't give a damn about a letter from non-American Celine Dion. I'll sing the song myself. No one can stop this Titanic.
What?
What? It's like what
I mean, are they not the best and brightest? Do we not have, as they say, the sharpest knives in the drawer?
I don't get it.
Yeah, you're right, Laura. No one can stop this Titanic.
I don't
Full
get
on.
it. I am dying
Going straight to the
laughing.
bottom of the sea, sister.
It's so funny. And then the helicopter
I mean, is that when
story.
you kind of look at someone with your eyes like, Give them a minute to correct themselves.
Right. Yeah.
And
No.
it just doesn't
They
happen.
don't even do it. So yeah, the Titanic and then the helicopter story. I don't
Oh my
understand the
God.
helicopter story. At first I was very, very confused. I was like, so he was on the helicopter and he just was confused about who was on it. And then it became like, why would you choose Willie Brown? I don't understand why he decided to
because
choose
Willie Brown is a black guy.
And he was screwing around with Kamala Harris. So there has to be a connection there.
Well, and the lawmaker from the South Bay, I forget his last name, Nate something. He is also a black man, an older black man.
Nate Holden.
Nate Holden, thank you.
Yeah.
And so perhaps Trump has an issue when it comes to recognizing which older black fellow he almost made an emergency landing in that. Right. But I mean, I adore Willie Brown's. The story is crazy because
I have the video of him talking with Phil Matier about it. And it might be a little low. So I'm going to pump up your volume if you're listening because they're on the street. So it might be a little low. It's so freaking funny. So here, Willie Brown and Phil Matier.
I got to ask you, were you ever in a helicopter with Donald Trump that nearly crashed?
No, I've never been in a helicopter with Donald Trump.
What was your reaction when you heard Donald Trump say that you and he were in a helicopter that went down?
I started laughing. I said, that's desperation to get on the front page of something, and not because of him.
Okay.
Me.
Have you ever talked to Donald Trump about Kamala Harris?
I've never spoken to Donald Trump about any woman, let alone Kamala Harris.
So yeah, I mean, I think that he was just trying to do a dig at Kamala Harris by bringing Willie Brown in. So here are the facts, apparently, about the helicopter landing. Willie Brown was not in the helicopter. The helicopter landing was made in New Jersey in 1990. It was not the emergency landing that was made in New Jersey in 1990 took place in Atlantic City. The passengers on board were Nate Holden, Robert Trump, Donald Trump, Harvey Friedman, and Barbara Rez. Willie Brown was never in the helicopter. Nate Holden says Willie Brown was not in the helicopter. Barbara Rez also doesn't remember Willie Brown being in the helicopter. Trump claims that Brown told him terrible things about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was 24 years old in 1990, had not started dating Willie Brown yet, and was just admitted to the California bar. So again, this would be a major headline. I mean, we were making fun of Donald Trump about it, but like Donald Trump gets away with so much BS because we are so desensitized. We are so desensitized to the fact that this guy makes crap up. It's crazy.
This is where I think there's an argument to be made about cognitive decline.
Yes.
Because I don't think that he was trying to get the wrong guy. I think he not only told this story recently,
but he's always thought it.
He wrote about it in a book, and he wrote Willie Brown as well. And I don't think he was trying to, take a swipe at Kamala Harris. I legitimately think he can't remember what happened and with whom.
Wow.
I think this is a highlight and a hallmark of maybe something going on mentally. That would make more sense to me than maybe flubbing a word at a press conference. This, I think, that's a cognitive memory issue.
Like he always thought probably that it was. So you're thinking that in his memory, he always thought it was Willie Brown.
Yep.
And then he just put it out there, and now people are like, "No, Grandpa."
It's not the first time he said it. He wrote it in some book that was published.
Oh,
this is really what he thinks.
Yeah, he's nuts. He's nuts.
They don't look the same. We all know what Willie Brown looks like, right?
Yeah, I don't know what Nate Holden looks like.
That's Nate Holden. Older.
I mean, I don't know what he looked back in 1990. I don't know what he looked like back in 1990.
I mean, Willie Brown was the speaker
of
California's legislature, right? And he was mayor of San Francisco. This guy's from the whole other end of the state.
Care. He does not care. He probably didn't give the guy two looks. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a guy in the helicopter with him, and they almost crashed. Like, whatever. But
my
there's
favorite
your
video
presidential campaign.
My favorite video of this is from Cron 4. When they had him at a local event, Willie Brown, and they asked him about the helicopter. And it was the same laugh you heard on the video you played with Phil Matier. But he went on, he must have laughed for like a minute and a half. I mean, it was a belly laugh. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah. And I love Willie Brown. I think he's so funny. I mean, and he doesn't give two craps. You know what I mean? Like he does not care. So, and the fact that Kamala Harris I mean, and we all hope and pray, is going to be the first female president of the United States. I'm sure Willie Brown is tickled freaking pink. But he is going to, say everything positive about Kamala Harris. But the one thing that I do not want people to say is that he helped her. You know what I mean? Like that is this narrative that I am so effing tired of.
No.
And you know what? Someone also said to me, and it's something that I want people to really remember. Anybody that says she slept her way to the top is basically saying that men require women to sleep with them in order to get promotions. Why don't we say it that way? Okay? So stop with that nonsense. Unless you believe in a system in which men require women to have sex with them to give them promotions, she did not sleep her way to the top. So stop. Okay, let's talk about something different. We're done talking about Trump. Let's have a little more fun. Okay. Actually, the Olympics ended, and on August 28th, I want to promote this because I think that it's really important. And I know I've been watching it, and I think, and I might be wrong, so people Google it. I hope that Peacock is doing it because Peacock was behind all the Olympic coverage. The Paralympics are starting. And the woman that won the long jump, that got the gold medal in the long jump and then ran into the stands in her husband's arms, and forgive me, I don't have the names in front of me. So great. He is competing in the Paralympics. So it's like this great thing. And I just totally want to see him race and everything like that. So the Paralympics are starting. And then there was the big handoff. Remember the handoff? Did you see Tom Cruise doing his whole like Tom Cruise thing?
Scaling from the ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, here's the mission if you choose to accept it. And he like falls off and he, does this like pumping action. So he lands and hands it off. And so the Paris hands it off to LA. Billie Eilish, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. Do you think California is ready or LA is ready to host the Olympics? They're saying it's going to be a car-free Olympics. That
Good
means
luck.
S show, in my opinion. LA, do you know that LA County, now, which is gigantic, by the way, I mean, has more people than many states.
Well, they
in
tried
LA
to do this
County.
last time they had the Olympics in Los Angeles.
Oh my
but
God.
the problem is all of the venues are spread out. And everyone's staying in different areas of.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
They're not all next door to each other. Someone told me the other day that the Olympic baseball softball venues are in some other state because they don't have whatever proper venue to do it in Los Angeles. I don't know.
That's going to be a difficult thing to watch. So like to get tickets and everything, you're going to have to travel all over the place to watch it. It's not a central location.
Right.
That's stupid. I mean,
that's the way Los Angeles is, right? Everything's spread out. So,
yeah, but if you're going to so there's not going to be an Olympic village is what I'm saying. Like,
I'm sure there will be an Olympic village. Yeah.
Well, no, but I want to go to an area and be able to watch like many different things at one time. So if I want to catch the gymnastics over here and the swimming over here, I don't want to have to travel in. Well, I guess it's going to be how's it going to be car free if I have to travel all these different places, Kim McAllister?
Thank you. Which is my whole point.
Like
they're using AI to redo a bunch of buildings.
Okay.
So they won't have the cost of constructing new venues for all of this.
Right.
The Los Angeles Coliseum is one of them. And there are a host of other buildings that they're using AI to help design changes to these buildings to make them appropriate for the Olympics. But I don't think that you can make it unless you have a really good shuttle system in place for all of these people. You're not going to be car free. Absolutely not.
And driving in LA sucks. You know what I mean? Like, just have to look at the smog in LA. And I know they've tried to clean it up, but it's just driving in LA. It's absolutely awful. So good luck. They have several years to get it together, but it was really cool to see the handoff to Karen Bass and everything like that. That was really, really cool. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a star-studded event. You know that much. So hopefully they can pull it off without a hitch. We'll see.
They say the Lakers are sharing their home stadium with the gymnasts, that they'll be held at the arena in downtown Los Angeles. which is right now crypto.com arena, right?
Right.
That will be the home to the basketball, games. It will be home to the
Right.
gymnastics, that type of thing. And then other venues and other surrounding communities will have other events. So again, all spread out. I don't think we're
Yeah.
going to be very good at no car zone.
Sandy says, I walked all the time when I lived in Hollywood, but I was right in the heart of Hollywood. I could walk to
Yeah.
everything. I would love, that's the one thing I've never done is live in an area in which I could walk everywhere.
Mhm.
Right now where I live, technically my work isn't too far. My boss actually lives in my neighborhood and she takes her bike and rides because we're only 2 miles away. So technically I
Right.
could ride my bike. I could ride my bike to work. It would take me a while. You know what I mean? It'd take me a while. But I could technically do it. And I ride my bike to downtown Campbell or something like that. So it's
Sure.
more walkable than where I used to live, but not like San Francisco where I live in one of the apartments and I walk down. It's not worth it to get in a car and drive in San Francisco. I've never done that. That would be really, really cool to do and live in a place like that where you just go
Well, San
down,
Francisco
support a
has
store and stuff like that.
San Francisco has Muni. They have Muni trains. It becomes more convenient. But even when I lived in San Francisco,
Yeah.
I lived out near Alamo Square Park. You know where KGO is located, all the way
Mhm.
down by the waterfront and near the ferry building. That's a long walk.
Yeah.
So it's
And
either
hills.
you're on the bus, you're on the train. There are people that do it, that walk that far.
Well, now
And I
that
was
they have
always
electric bikes
"Hmm,
and scooters, though,
it's better.
it's
Yeah.
if you have a pedal assist bike, especially,
Mhm.
it's no problem. It is no problem. So, the technology's gotten better to do it. So you could possibly see it. Okay. The other funny story coming out of the Olympics that we have not talked about that we have to talk about is, of course, the breakdancer, the Australian breakdancer Dr. Reagan, because she has a PhD in cultural dance, apparently. Now, I always get dinged if I play you the official Olympic videos. So I'm going to play you the funny videos that people have put sounds to. I'm sure many of you have already seen these videos. So here we go.
But you know what? This ridiculous
break their head or
performance
whatever.
that she put on
Uh-huh.
has led to breaking being eliminated from the next competition in
It was
2028.
never going to be in. It was. By the way, it was never going to be in.
You
the
don't think
next
it was her
Olympics.
fault?
No,
I mean,
don't think
if
it was
it had-
going to be in the next one.
If it had all gone swimmingly and led to a lot of people loving it and people rushing to the venue to see it, then maybe it would have continued. But I think so many people kind of made fun of it as like, what?
It is going to be in 20. So it's going to be in 2032. So it's going to be
doubt
in
it.
2032. They've already announced it's going to be in 2032.
Really?
I don't think it was going to
Mm.
be in 2028. They already said it was not going to be in 2028. This is the thing. When I was listening to the radio the day before or the day of breakdancing hitting the Olympics, the thing that tipped me off that this is going to be a problem from the get-go is there was no point system. Okay. If you paid attention to the scoring, it was like musicality, and they didn't get to choose their own music. Okay. So it was very interpretive. It
Yeah.
was very up to the judges, which I find completely unfair. Right. So they all had to break dance to the same music, all this sort of thing. And so, yeah, and it was not going to be in 2028, no matter what.
Yeah, Eric said,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
2028.
So I just feel like it has problems. There should be set moves that are already determined, right? Like
Sure.
there needs to be a guideline. Because again, the other big hoopla is what happened with Jordan Childs, right? The whole bronze medal, having to return
That's a
it back and
mess.
forth. That's a
Mhm.
whole mess because the difficulty scores and
Yep.
the time on their, challenging it, that's still up in the air. They want her to return it. They're challenging that. So
Yeah.
you understand how all of this can just go up in smoke. So, but I'm telling you now, this woman who is for Australia, here she is again. I just have to play more videos. Somebody put doing the kangaroo. This is the move that I love. This one. Now, apparently, somebody found video. I'm going to show you this one. Somebody found video of the finals in Australia of people she had to beat. And they're like, it's exactly what you thought it would be.
Oh my
They're just as
gosh.
bad. So here you go.
Thank you.
They're just writhing around on the ground, like,
show you.
touching their butt, like. I could do that. You know, like when you tell your kid.
You could be an Olympic medalist in, what did Eric say, 2020 whatever, 2030 something?
I love it. It is so funny. Now people are bagging on her because they're like, you made breakdancing, you made fun of it, and like she's like, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to beat these people, so I was just gonna express myself, you know, and all those sorts of things. So whatever, you know, I do think that for people that are serious about breakdancing, it sucks, but come on. I mean, it really did draw a lot of eyes. I am telling you, everyone's going to watch breakdancing in 2032. Like everyone's going to be looking for the next Reagan. So I'm sorry. I think it's awesome. I enjoyed it. I rewatched it. You know what I mean? And you know what's really funny is this: when you're competing in breakdancing, you have to apparently act like the other person's like challenging you, and it's so funny because like it's so funny. Like you have to be like nodding at him, be like, oh, and I just feel like you're stuck in like that Breaking movie, you know, and it just cracks me up. It just really cracks me up. Colin's like, Elaine can dance better than her.
Well, and the head of the Australian Olympic contingent said she is the nicest person.
Oh,
that she's kind of like the sweetest person. She's looked up to one of the older, you know, women on the team, you know, the full team. And she's looked up to by all the other athletes, and they loved having her along for the ride. Right. And it was, they were happy that she made it and that they could bring her with. Okay. So I don't know.
That's good. Well, somebody, or actually some people that were not faking it, and especially this guy that was not faking it, was the U.S. men's basketball team, who obviously won the gold. And I am telling you, totally awesome. But I will, if you haven't heard the song, and I am telling you, it is the best song ever that this guy made. And I don't know if I'm going to get dinged. So if you're watching this on replay, I really hope that I don't get dinged. I'm going to have to refresh it because it already starts because it's on Instagram. This is the song that this guy made up because for the U.S. men's basketball team. Here we go. Hold on. Let me refresh it. Hold on. Here we go. Because it's an awesome song. Right?
It's coming.
Hold on. Here we go.
Double from LeBron, 36 from Steph Curry, and I'm proudly stand up and next to you as we beat every other country. Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless USMET.
I love that song. I've listened to that song like 5 times. It's so great. But yeah, so congratulations. It was so fun to watch them. I really only watched it on replays. But it was just, it's so fun to see players that don't play together. You know what I mean? Like Steph Curry and LeBron and all these people that are obviously rivals at home play together. So it was a great thing to see.
Did you see the problem that Aisha Curry and Steph Curry's mom Sonia had when they came out of the stadium? And she has her infant with her. I think he's like 4 months old, her baby boy. And they were trying to get right across the street to their car, but the president of France was coming through, so the police had to stop all the traffic.
Okay.
And they said, you know, I've got an infant, can't you just let us through, this type of thing? And somehow, and the reporting is really sketchy. I don't know who or why, but during this kind of confrontation with police, and I don't know if there were other people around, the allegation is that her infant was hit in the head.
Oh no, I didn't hear that.
I know. And he seems fine and everything is okay. But then you had one of the teammates, I want to say Kevin Durant. Was he on I think it was him.
Yeah.
He came out at the same time. and was talking to the police and standing up for her, saying, is there nothing you can do since the baby got hit in the head, type of thing, to get them. And the police were like, once they understood, the police were like, no, it's the president of France coming through. There's nothing we can do.
Right.
So it's kind of a tense moment there with the police in France.
Oh, well, that's a tough one. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's really tough. Oh, well, the baby's okay though, right?
I think so. I haven't heard anything to the contrary.
Mm-hmm.
Looking to see, it was Draymond Green, rather. I'm sorry, not Kevin Durant. It was
Okay.
Draymond Green who appears, he asked the authorities, so even after him hitting the baby in the head, there's still nothing y'all can do to get them out of here?
Oh.
The video doesn't show the baby being assaulted in any way, and it's unclear. The police say they didn't touch the child. It's unclear whether someone else did or what happened.
Yeah.
There's
So
a lot
many
of people there
people,
jostling. Yeah,
exactly. I don't think anybody
So-
likely did it on purpose.
Yeah.
But if the baby was hurt, that sucks. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's a kind of crappy way to end it too.
I know. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have one more story. I have one more story
Okay.
before we end the show. And this has nothing to do with sports and it has nothing to do with politics, but it does have something to do with the fact that school is starting. And another reminder, next Thursday, we are starting the show a half hour earlier because it's back to school night. And I don't want to shorten the show. I want to keep it kind of, enough time for everybody. So we're going to start at 4:30 next Thursday, just next Thursday for back to school night. So there's this mom, Kim McAllister. And I want, would you do this, my friend? Okay.
Okay.
So a mom is dropping her daughter off in college. Okay. It's move-in day. And I want to set it up fairly. Okay. It's move-in day. And the daughter is going a little bit earlier because there's cheerleading practice. Now there's other people on campus because it's sports and things like that.
Sure.
So she's there, but her roommate is not there. Okay. So her mother decides, and her daughter says, please do spend the night. Now, would you, if your daughter asked you to, spend the night?
I'm going to say, I think, unless it's against the rules, which I think a lot of times they don't allow parents to spend the night, right? I'm going to say yes, that I would, unless it was against the rules, because in this case, you're muted. The roommate isn't here. There's no one else in the room. It's day one, so there's not friends coming in and out. No one's going to think you're weird if your parent stays the night.
Right.
I think perhaps I would, unless it was expressly forbidden.
So here's my thinking. Okay, so when I went to college, like my parents dropped me off. I'm like, bye.
Right.
But I also remember like people came into my dorm room and they were like asking me like, do you want to go get food and all these sorts of things. Like I feel like there was this opportunity where yes, her mom, it wasn't a full campus, but it was this moment where that uncomfortable moment, right? Where you're by yourself, it's out of your element. And you should experience that. Like, I don't know. There's a growth that happens when it's not easy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are saying like, so the mom got vilified. Well, some people were saying like the daughter asked, she asked and it's okay if she asked. These were the other reactions. No, don't do this. You did your job. It's time for the little chick to find her wings. This is setting them up for failure. One person said it's gross and weird. Have some boundaries. Say goodbye to your kid and go cry in the car like everyone else. Let them live their lives. That's what you brought them to do.
Yeah.
One person says, I've worked in every level of college and university admissions and advising. I can tell you this is a terrible idea.
Well, I don't think it's allowed. My sister they just went to orientation week at UCLA. And the kids got to stay in the dorms for that week. They have to go back in September because school, like normal people, school doesn't start until after Labor Day there.
Oh, okay.
Ours all just started this week, right? But
exactly.
But so she went, and my niece Ashlyn stayed in the dorms, and her roommate didn't come, so she was there. I think she was there
by
solo.
herself. Yeah.
But my sister, her husband, they were all there, and they stayed in a different hotel. They have a hotel on the campus for families to stay in.
Oh,
and I think that's where they stayed. Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess in this case, the mom and the daughter could have stayed in a nearby hotel, had like one last hurrah
Right.
or whatever. It is a little strange. I mean, you do want to let them be them. I'll tell you right now. I got yelled at last night. I got handed 2 pieces of paper.
Oh.
And when you hand me a piece of paper that the teacher has put a little note that says, please sign here.
Right.
What it means to me is that you want me to read thoroughly what you have sent and then sign that I have read it.
Yes.
So I read it, and there were some things on there that stood out. So I highlighted them so I remember to tell Julia, hey, look at this policy the teacher has, or remember to turn it. And she was mortified. She goes, I cannot believe you put highlighter on that. I can't believe you don't
Now
just
she
let
has to
me
turn that back
figure it out.
in.
And I was like, so I do have this tendency maybe to go a little overboard. I'm just saying. So I do need to be reined in. And for this reason, I will accept that perhaps I would have made the wrong decision in this case.
Oh, that is so funny. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to turn it back in, I mean, because now maybe the teacher thinks that you've highlighted it and she needs to watch Julia about those things. You know
told
what
Julia,
I mean?
I'd like for you to initial each of the things that I've highlighted. And she goes, I will absolutely not.
Thanks, Mom. Sam, thank you so much for the $20 donation. I love seeing your face here.
I love it. And
lovely to see you both live. Too bad I missed most of the show. We're on replay. It's YouTube, Sam. You're on my calendar for Thursdays from now on. Yeah. So we're normally at 5. Just next Thursday's back to school night. So we're starting a little bit earlier at 4:30, but normally it's 5 o'clock somewhere, Sam. So bring your cocktail, mocktail, water, coffee, whatever. We're digesting the news. 5 o'clock on Thursday, Sam. Mark your calendars, my friend.
And
So glad
huge thanks to Sam.
Thank
for
you
all
so
of
much for the donations.
Facebook messages he has sent me.
Oh, nice.
He really keeps me up to date when it comes to Israel, Gaza, the war, the situation, what's going on there. And I really enjoy reading the messages from him because it's perspectives that you don't really find in a lot of places.
Right,
so,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Oh, well, thank you, Sam. I love seeing your face. Well, let's give some more thank yous before we end the show because you guys have been so generous. And again, if you want to donate to the show, the super chat is always live. Luis started us off with a $5 donation. Thank you so much, Luis. Lady Beatrice with a $5 donation as well.
Hey.
And another $5 donation.
Nice.
Another one from Luis as
Look
well.
at that.
Rev P. Love you, Rev P.
Oh, Rev.
Do I watch local and world news or the Nikki Maduro show? Both, of course. Yes. Jim, I love seeing your name as well. Thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. I feel like I missed that one. And Sam, thank you so much for the $20 donation as well. Yeah. You guys, thank you so much for being here. We know that it's different. We definitely know that it's different. I did just pour my vodka. Cheryl, thank you so much for being here. Mindy says, I hope you like your new job, Nikki. I do. Next Thursday. Hold on. My mind is a blank. So next Thursday, I will be able to tell you about what is my real first official day. I feel like they're fooling me because the kids haven't been on campus yet.
Yep.
And it's been busy. Ooh, Cindy, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Love your shows. Thank you, even on replays. So the kids aren't there yet. I'm so excited to meet the kids, see the kids. But you know what they say. You don't know what the job is till the kids are there. But I've been meeting the teachers, and I really do love the people that I work with. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm spoiled in a way. Kim, I'm telling you, like, if you met the women I work with, you're like, oh my God, these are such Nikki people. Like
that makes it.
It does. You know what I mean? Like it so does. They're awesome ladies, and I fit in immediately. Yep. And I really think that that's why they hired me, is they were looking for someone that could fit their crew. And I do, and I love it. And so I'm really excited to meet the kids. So you guys are going to get me the day after my first day. It'll be my second day. So we're gonna talk some stories. So I'm really excited. So I'll have plenty of stories, and I'm excited. Thank you for the $5, Harry. You guys are great. You guys are such big supporters, and I love you guys so much. Also, we do have our Patreon as well. Is it over already? I know. Go back to the replay or just watch it all over again. We'll be here again next Thursday. Yep. Click the thumbs up button. The super chat is live. And please donate to our Patreon, thenikkimaduroshow.com. All of these links are included in the show notes, each and every show. We depend on you to keep the show going, and we really do appreciate you guys being here. PayPal is always up as well. Go to paypal.com, hit the send button, thenikkimadoroshow.com. Just put that in there, and the link is right there. And then please support our sponsor, Auntie Tabby's Island Flavors. You get 10% off every single time you order if you use the coupon code NIKKIM, NIKKIM. So go to auntie-tabbies.com. Her guava barbecue sauce is like nothing you're going to find at the store. It's so delicious. She's from Jamaica. And not only does a portion of your order go to this show, a portion of your order also helps kids in Jamaica with a skateboarding program to kind of keep them off the streets, and it really helps kids. So not only do you get delicious barbecue sauce, but you also give back to the community and help the show. So we really appreciate you guys. Thank you so, so very much. Come back next week right here on Thursday. Get your cocktail, your mocktail, whatever you need. We'll be right here next Thursday only. It's at 4:30, but normally it's at 5. We have back to school night. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. Miss Brown, like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.